Hello, everybody. I am so excited for today. I have my amazing client, Michael Boyle, on. Before we get into his amazing journey, Michael, can you just tell us who do you serve, what problem you solve?
Right on, Alok. Super happy to be here. So the thing I'm most excited about right now is the relating revolution. So it's couples that want practical stuff that they can do to build love, trust, connection, and joy in their life.
Oh, so good. I can't wait for you all to hear what Michael's like what's happening for him. But before we dive into all of his, his 30K wins and these kind of things that are amazing things that are happening, Michael, can you just give us a little bit of a snapshot of things we're at before you and I got rolling?
Yeah, sure. So, I got to say that I'm actually proud of myself about where I was before because I have a family of 5 to support, and I'm the sole financial provider, and it's a beautiful thing, but it's also a big responsibilities. But I was hustling as a psychotherapist, and I maximized every single angle, every single billing code, every single thing that you could possibly do, living in a rural area, serving kind of the underbelly of the community, working a lot with trauma, and doing some very admirable and great work with soldiers and things like that. But I was, and I was earning well enough to live a nice, comfortable lifestyle, but it was not affording retirement, vacation, college funds. And it was also, I was burnt out. I was stressed out. My gas tank was empty, and I would do what you have to do as a provider, but I couldn't keep up that pace. It was not sustainable. So,
and just so everybody knows, to be fair, he's a successful psychotherapist. He was maxed out, and he was doing what? You were 125K?
Yeah, 125 in 2020, which was amazing, and I built that relatively quickly, that private practice. So I do have this entrepreneurial bug, right? Because I was a director of a program. I founded a behavioral health organization for kids. But it was a nonprofit that wasn't run well. And so that stuff crumbled. And all of a sudden I was unemployed and I was like, what am I going to do? And so I built a private practice within about 14 months, getting it up to full and earning that kind of money. And that was great, but it was a ceiling. There was
yeah, that's right. And that's something I want everybody to hear. Yeah. At every stage of our business, we start hitting ceilings and you're just like,
absolutely.
What can give, right? And so in that backdrop, and then you made the leap, and I think neither of us will ever forget our sales calls ever.
Never. That was great. I admit, Alok, I called I said, I think this is a little gimmicky. And then, yeah. And so everybody, you guys got to know that actually Alok really helped me because this was the first time that someone had, he was very strong in his center and his ability to be like, you know what, I don't really have time for that, and I actually was like, oh, maybe it's not gimmicky because he's got some guts. And so it was a really important pivot moment for me. And I was able to recognize and say, no, okay, I got to look closer at this thing.
Yeah, I was talking to another client today, and I'm so excited to get into your wins, but I was talking to another client today about, when you're willing to walk away, right? And I want everybody out there, what Michael's describing right there is because people are being sold so many things in the marketplace. I mean, and there's so much snake oil, right? So it's it's okay to be a little bit conscientious, but what he heard me go was, hey man, don't harm a foul. I'm ready to end this conversation, right? Right. And he was like, oh shit. He's not just trying to hard sell me right now. I'm like, no, I'm not actually, that's not how it's going to roll,
Right. And one of the things that I've really learned and appreciated, and now it's been very exciting in what I'm doing, is just like you also said, look, I don't want to do it if it's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
And that was very liberating for me to realize is not only do I get to do the important work that I've studied my ass off and I've trained and I'm good at it. And I'm going to do more good if I'm having fun, and so
So tell people some of your wins, like, because what Michael looked at me, he said, Alok, if I sign on and I join your program, I'm going to be the best student in there. Like, yes, I might be a little nervous, but if I go in, Alok, and he was not kidding around. You did everything.
Yeah. And so, and I've seen actually other people in your groups, by the way, rock out too, and they do everything too. So that's really cool. But basically, because that's just kind of the environment, and I want to give props to all of my fellow cohort people who I've come to really know and love, and have a lot of respect for. But yes, like, that's the thing that was also very appealing to me, is that it's not pie in the sky. You do have charisma and you do have good energy, but it's also like, there is a process here. There is steps you can follow. There is a method. And that's one of the things I say to my clients. There are maps, there are tools, there are instructions. If you follow them, they will work, And so I have to practice what I preach. And so I followed your maps, tools, and instructions, and they work.
Yeah, boy, did they work. You tell everybody, like, Michael had never done premium high ticket sales calls. I just want you all to know that. And then
never
tell people what happened.
There were some funny things there was a couple funny things that happened, but basically the most overwhelming, not overwhelming, but the most inspiring thing that happened is people started saying yes. And I mean, I don't know a more kind of neat way to say it, but people started saying yes at such a high percentage that, like, I think I wrote to you that time that it's like, I think I'm batting 850 or something like that.
In baseball terms. I mean, it's unheard of.
And so yeah, there's been a lot more yeses than there have been no's, and maybe it won't always be that way, but
maybe it will.
I'm hoping to it being that way and more so. But
that's right.
But the fact of the matter is like the quality over quantity, and like the genuine human connection. The thing I was very nervous about, like the sales process of like, but when I realized that it was really just about just being human and really connecting with people. And I think one of the things that I said to you is like, there were plenty of messages and things and back and forths that didn't even turn into sales calls that were just genuinely nice. They were like, I was more than happy to have those conversations and those interactions with people, connecting with people on, Messenger or whatever it was. And just like being human, being real, and like letting my sincerity show, letting my heart show. And like, that's really the process that is far more than any gimmicks or sales tricks or any of that. It's just like be a good human being and offer something that is good and beneficial to the world, and good things will start happening. And that's happening.
Yeah. I mean, sales gets such a bad name. And that's one of the things I love teaching is conversational selling. It's like, look, just come from your heart, be in a soul aligned conversation with the right person who can actually benefit from what you're doing. And you were just so great about both creating content that was drawing people in, and you were booking sales calls from that, and then, being able to convert in Messenger. But I just want everybody to know, like, literally he closed his first high ticket sale. I think it was like $4,500. He closed the second one for like $3,000.
Yeah.
I think you were like 3 out of 4 in the beginning. You did like 30 grand in your first few months. Like,
yeah, man. I mean, I filled a group, like, which was, I think, probably, you had said, like, and you had said, just get the individual thing down and the groups will come later. And I was like, nah, after that, I want to do a group. and so we have eight couples in that group, and that relating revolution thing, that is so really near and dear to my heart. And that's really going well. So I'm very proud, not just of the business successes, but like the people that are in there that are awesome and are growing. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a nice combination of practical tools and intimacy and connection. And it's great.
It's amazing, man. So, beyond the wins, you've now upgraded to my next level program, and we're now really taking the gloves off. I want to get into specifics of some of your work, but what's your 2021 revenue goal? What are you aiming for?
We are mapping that out on our 75-minute call on Friday specifically. Great. So but what I have just said on my initial gut is like, I kind of took some of what I heard you say earlier about just 2Xing every year. So, so if I 2X 125 to 250, wonderful. But if we find out on Friday that there's maybe a little bit more room up there, I'm okay with that.
So we're going to go for like 300 this year. So talk to me. Let's get into, the wins are amazing. Just everybody out there. Michael's such an implementer. Like, he just takes ideas about how not just to grow his business, but to grow his mission. And he's just a phenomenal person. Cares and uplifts the rest of the community. But he's such an implementer, such a phenomenal implementer. So talk to us about your vision. I know that, one of the things that you had said to me was that, there's the vision for your business, but also, you mentioned you and your wife kind of were like, for the first time you were able to start, planning a little differently. Just walk us through what that change in your household was like.
Yeah. I mean, little stuff that was just amazing. Like, but I think these little things that make it so tangible. And I did share this with the group. It was like, septic tank got screwed up and I didn't have to like have a panic about that. I didn't have to shovel things around. I'm like, just write the dude a check. It's fine.
Yeah.
And like, that's such a big deal. Actually, it's not, we might think about like and I want to go to Bora Bora someday too. And I want to do that stuff someday too. And that's also awesome. And I do want to travel the world and those visions are happening. And I want to we want to build, because this is not right? This is a we. Like, my wife is every bit a part of like, I just happen to be this face of it, but I couldn't do it without her, right? So we want to build her a music studio because she's a badass musician. And so there's a bunch of things that we are envisioning along those lines. But another thing that was really, really awesome is like, it was a month or two ago, and I realized that for the first time in a very, very long time, maybe forever, I did not cringe at the grocery store on the checkout line. And they were just going bing. And it was just like, yeah, of course I buy my family organic food. And, and of course we're, and I don't need to be like, I'm not gluttonous about it, but like, I'm going to buy my family the best of what they need. And I'm not going to sweat it at all. In fact, every single purchase that went through the register, I'm like, grateful. So glad I can do that. So grateful I can do that. Wow, that's going to feed my kids. They're going to be amazing. Boom, 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 boom. So just like I didn't even realize that it was there until it was not there. That resistance of like, ooh, ow, oh, wow, that's a big bill, And then with that gone, that's a tremendously beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this in our house. Like, we do, like, one of our big like celebrations of abundance is a full fridge. I mean,
yeah, totally.
What a blessing in this world.
Yeah.
And I earn a ton at this point. I still open the fridge, like after we've done a big shop or whatever. And I still go, oh my God.
Yeah. It's an amazing privilege.
It's a privilege. I mean, it is a privilege. Right. And, people can see the Bora Bora trips and all like that. I'm like, for us here, that fridge moment it doesn't get old, man.
Right on. Yep.
So talk to us about vision. I know you and your wife kind of have some stuff percolating. There's this relationship revolution. Yeah. Like, give us a little something.
Well, we're thinking about bringing my wife into the relating revolution thing, which I think will be really cool because, there are some elements, right? And I've also still have on the back burner the Brotherhood of Men thing. And I really want to reach men that are like, that know that they need something, but they're not really comfortable with therapy, and they're not really, and like they need a guy that they can really relate to, that's practical and action oriented, but still open hearted, right? That's the middle ground. And at the same time, so there are moments that are like, I think in the relating revolution, the way we can even improve it even more than it already is really pretty good, solid result right now, is that we have some breakouts for just guys. And then my wife does breakouts for just the gals. And I think that will just bring it up to an even better level. And So we're thinking about doing that. Well, we're going to do that. That's going to come in the next cohort, which starts in the end of February. And then
tell me about the email that came in, the breakthrough email. Give our viewers a little taste.
Gosh, this was incredible because it was a Voxer, right? And so that's part of the service, is that people are able to send me the Voxer messages, and so this woman sent me a Voxer message, and she just started to explain about how, just the stresses and strains. I mean, she's a powerful entrepreneur herself. She runs a multi-million-dollar business. Her and her husband run a multi-million-dollar business, and so, there's been a lot of tension. There's been a lot of stress. They have 2 little kids. And so what that often does to a love life is often not a great thing, right? They have a tremendous amount of love for each other, but then there's all these stresses and strains that get in the way and that activate certain parts of the brain and the nervous system, such that we aren't really feeling the juiciness or the love, the trust, the connection, and the joy. And so what she wrote me the other day is like, a week ago, I would have thought you were absolutely nuts, that I was now enjoying, making love, kissing, holding, touching, and the impact that that's had on our family, on our children, on my business. She's like, I honestly want to send this to to her whole company. She has about 20 full-time employees. She's like, I want to send it to all of them, because, and then she ended and she's like, you know what? This relationship revolution has been truly revolutionary. And I was just super proud. That was a super proud moment. And yeah, I mean, just really for me, what hits my heart is like the impact on the kids, for kids not only be around their parents that are no longer fighting like cats and dogs, but to see and feel the love. That hits kind of some of my personal history, and that's really, really important to me.
Do you want to share that personal history at all? Or?
Yeah, I mean, just I grew up with a lot of fighting around me. I mean, a lot of fighting around me, and my mom she will probably end up watching this, and no disrespect, I love you, Mom, and we've talked about all this, but that stuff really left a mark on me, right? To have them fight the way that they did. It was problematic for sure. And I've done a lot of work to heal, and I've done a lot of work to grow, and I've done a lot of work to thrive myself. And I have a really great relationship with my parents now. And they've even like came to me a couple years ago and asked me for couples counseling. That was a bit awkward, but so they're in a different place in their life, and there's no hard feelings, but I still remember the sting. And if I can alter that in families, holy shit, like I am the most grateful, humble human being in the world. If I can make that better in a family environment, that is, and people say this and think it's cliche, or maybe it's just a sales thing to say, that is worth so much more than money. I have chills all over my body right now. I'm going to show you goosebumps. And so that's worth so much more than money.
Yeah, man, that right there is the gold. We talk a lot about the wins, but what you and I, and before when Michael and I were preparing for today, the conversation is like, what does the money allow us to do?
Yeah.
And I talk about 4 circles of contribution, right? There's being able to take care of yourself, being able to take care of you and your family, being able to take care of you, your family, and your community. And then there's being able to take care of you, your family, your community, and then start changing the world, right? I mean, the money allows you to start expanding, right? Now you already, as we start thinking about your year ahead and like, you're moving out of that kind of like, oh my gosh, can I pay for the groceries at the register? And now it's like, no, what are Michael and his wife like?
Yeah.
So that can happen.
Yeah.
That reduction in the fighting, right? Because I didn't see fighting just in my own house. I saw it. I've actually tracked in almost every household in my childhood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No wonder many of us are like shell shocked later on.
Yep. No doubt. Yeah. And I don't want to move. Yes. That tender point is essential. And I also want to speak to something that you just said that was in a Facebook post that you made earlier that I commented on, is like, I've always thought is one of the most important things that I can do as a human being to contribute to the world, to be a conscientious employer. So like, I really, really, really want to move in the direction where I can have a team of people that are well paid, happy, working in a creative environment where they're respected, honored, trusted, where they have independence, but also where we have a team feeling and a together feeling. To me, that's an unbelievable way to impact the community, to impact those families, to the ripple effect on that has so many benefits. So like, I make no bones about it. I want to move into a position where I am generating enough action around quote unquote me that a lot of people can sit at this table and benefit from it.
I mean, that is, it's for those of us that are there's a sort of a new era of us in the transformation space where, Michael's referring to a post that I made, where it's not just about, can I scale to 1.5 million with only a part-time VA and keep all the money myself, right? I'm seeing that a lot in the industry, especially the people that are cracking through and having success. And the people that I'm attracted to, and for me, as I've cracked that level, it's like, how many people can I actually now employ, right? So that it accelerates your message moving out into the world, and they're like, thank you. Like, I got a bonus to an overseas teammate, and like, he literally wrote me and was like, my family thanks God that you're alive.
That's cool, man. Yeah, no, for real.
For real. Like, and it wasn't like a backbreaking amount for me. It was, but like, it landed for him, and I checked in, and I was like, oh my God. Anyway, how can people get in touch with you if they're, who are you calling in? Like, it's couples? Are they typically married, kids, or kind of give
committed partners, and I'm even going to be more specific and say committed monogamous partners, which is no shame or slight against anything else.
Yep.
But that's what we're talking. Committed monogamous partners that want to learn how they can actually change their neurology, their biology, their chemistry, so that they have an embodied experience of love, trust, connection, and joy that doesn't require endless processing or therapy or anything like that, but they'll actually feel it, not just know it, but they'll feel it. And that they're willing to do the work. They're highly motivated. Like, and one of the things that I've learned from you is like, I'm not trying to convince people. I'm not trying to, like, you got to already be motivated. If you want to take advantage of this, it's like, it's going to be a full on kind of all in thing. And so, and there's plenty of people out there that want that. And so that's what I'm going to provide, is a full on all in thing that you're going to really upgrade your family. If you don't have to have kids, if you do have kids, I certainly can relate. I've got 3. And then, and I'm still working with individuals too. And so there are still people that are working on that. But this thing that I'm really focusing on right now is the relating revolution. And on the individual side, I say we're always relating, whether it's inner or outer, we're always relating. So you can have an inner relating revolution too, and you're welcome to contact me if you're interested in individual work. So that's still an option. But these groups, these cohorts are fantastic. The group vibe is awesome, and that's what I want to build bigger and bigger.
Can I ask one before I should have asked this a little earlier?
Yeah.
For those people out there that are a little nervous about being in a group environment that's dealing with intimate relationship, like, how do you foster that?
Yeah, that thank you so much. That's great. Is like, one, we foster it just through, there is the part of it that is essential, that is just human connection and empathy, right? Yeah. Human connection and empathy, and just skillfully kind of handling what comes up, and being and setting good ground rules about boundaries and confidentiality and those types of things. But at the same time, what I've found, and what I hoped would be the case, and now I've found it to be true, is that the group vibe has actually made it better. It has made it much better. The people are in there going, it's so beneficial. And I said that this was going to be the case, and I'm glad that it turned out. It's so beneficial to hear what the other couple is going through. And I learn more from hearing them ask you a question and you answering their question than I've learned from anything else. And and then the other thing is that I say that it's actually not as big a risk as we think. One, it's Zoom, and you don't have to ever see this person again if you want, although some people are making connections that they do. But you can close your computer, and it's not like that you're going to see the person at the post office tomorrow. Like we got people all around the world. So there's enough intimacy and connection to increase the result, but there's not so much that it's like, oh man, like the small town vibe where it's like people know my stuff. Right. So actually, I think it's a perfect balance that it's even better than if we were doing it in person in a town. Amazing. Because distance and connection.
Amazing, right? So enough anonymity and distance, but still, wow. Yeah. Talk about a blessing given our current landscape, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, honestly, and it's also really cool because it's like when I started with you, I didn't think that this was going to be the thing that was going to go, right? But this is the thing that has taken off. This is the thing. This is the thing that is. So if we're open to the unknown, and if we just engage in the process, and we break through some of those ceilings, we don't know yet what's beyond the ceiling. And so once we break through, there's often something bigger and better than we even thought there could have been, right? And that's what's.
I want everyone to hear that. Like, that is the power of saying yes. Not just yes to a mentor or a program, but saying yes to possibility. Saying yes to, is there something better? And one of the things Michael said to me before we worked, he's like, Alok, like, I know you can't guarantee anything, but like, what do you think the likelihood is that I can, earn my money back and like maybe be on track to a better situation? I was like, man, like, I can't guarantee it, but like, play full out and like, let's see what happens. And now you're like, you can build this thing to 7 figures and beyond. Like you have a vehicle where you have hit it. I said on that post the other day. So how can people get in touch with you?
So they can feel free to friend me on Facebook, but they can also email me at michael@energyofmind.com. Michael@energyofmind.com. I'm still working on some things with like website and like, I built that whole Brotherhood of Men website. Now I'm going to build a whole other one. So cool. you can find me at brotherhoodofmen.us. But if you're thinking like, wait, is it just for guys? Like there's more to it than that now. But
I think probably a great.
Yeah. Facebook, great. Friend me. It's my tag is MPB together. Michael Patrick Boyle initials together, MPB together. You can find me there. You can send me a friend request. You can send me a private message. A lot of what I've noticed is a lot of the content that I talk about, people don't like to comment and engage on because it's a little bit private and a little bit personal. So I'm well aware of that. I get plenty of feedback that people are watching, but it's always on the side.
And so raise their hand. Our sex life is a disaster.
Yeah, it's not a raise your hand post type of a stuff. But trust me, we're all going through it. We can relate. And so if you send me a private message, the point is that I will handle it with kindness and consideration and understand your needs there. So,
well, Michael, I am, I'm so proud of you. I'm honored to know you, and I'm beyond excited to see what's coming for you, over this next year. Not just more skiing with your kids. First of all, by the way, he's also a rock star dad, but that's a whole other thing. But anyway, we're so proud of you, man. Love the results that you've created in your business already in these 4 months, and just love who you're showing up as in the world and the human that you are. So
thank you. Right back at you, man. I think more guys, we need to be able to say more often, but I love you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Man.
All right, brother.
Yeah.